Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video I am doing my long awaited training update. So I did say I was going to do these as weekly updates, but just because of everything that's been going on at the moment with the kitchen and the stress of the kitchen, I haven't had the chance to sort of get out with my camera to do my run vlogs, and I just haven't had the time to really sit down and do anything other than my sort of main videos that I've been doing. And it's just slipped my mind every single time to do these training updates. So I'm going to do a block from week 1 to week 4, and then from next week I will do weekly updates going forward with my training. So week 5 will have its own update with a run vlog in it. So for now I'm just going to go through all of the weeks that I've done so far and sort of recap the training that I've done. I'm not going to be able to remember every single run up until probably week 4. I will recap this week in a bit more detail, but I'll just briefly go over the runs that I've done and sort of a weekly mileage summary, I guess. So week 1 I did 2 runs that week. I'm not entirely sure what the reason was for only doing 2 runs that week. I think it's just because I probably had a lot of stuff going on with the kitchen. You'll have known if you've been watching my videos that I've had a lot of drama going on with the kitchen, so I'm sure it was probably to do with that. So I did 2 runs for week 1. I did a 3-mile run, which is on the plan, and then I did a 4-mile run. For some reason Strava has cut my run off by 0.1, which has really annoyed me because I did 4. It's on my Garmin, it's showing as 4, but for some reason Strava didn't want it. So my first run, week 1 run was 3 miles in a pace of 13:15, and I did that in a time of 39:48. My long run for that week, because I wanted to make sure that I at least did the long run, even if I was going to miss other shorter runs, I want to make sure that I at least do my long run every week. So if I'm going to miss one run in the week, it's not going to be my long run. So I did 4 miles that week. I did that in a pace of 13:09, and I did that in a time of 52:33. So they were the only 2 runs that I did that week. So I totaled 7 miles for week 1. Moving on to week 2, I'm sorry if I feel a bit distant to the camera, it's just because I'm looking down at my Strava. You will see the screenshots either side for what I'm talking about. Week 2 I did 4 runs for week 2. So I did really well on training that week. I was really pleased with how that went. So my first run of the week was 3 miles. I did that in a pace of 13:37, and I did that in a time of 40:54. My second run of the week was another 3 miles. I did that in 12:54 and a time of 38:44. My third run of the week I did 3.5 miles. I'm not sure whether 3.5 miles was on the plan. I guess you will see from the training plan that I'm going to put here to sort of compare with the runs that I do here, whether it was actually on the plan or not. For some reason I think that it wasn't, and I did a bit extra, but it's no harm in doing a bit extra. Then I did a 4.5 mile run for my run 4, which was my long run of the week. I was pretty pleased with that. I was run walking at the time. I'm not too bothered about run walking at the moment. I'm hoping that as time goes on and my training goes on, I will fizzle those sort of walk breaks out. If I don't, then it's fine. But I did that long run. It was 4.5 miles. I did that in a pace of 13:05 and a time of 58:56. So that was the sort of ending for week 2. I'll leave the summary of the mileage here for you to see. Then moving on to week 3, I think week 3 I only did 3 runs that week. So I did my first run, which was 3 miles. I did that in a pace of 14:06 and a finishing time of 42:20. Then my second run, I decided to shift my long run up a bit. I think I went out with Philip that day. We did an out and back loop just to see how far that we could get without stopping. I think that was the first run that Philip came out with me as well, so my pace was a bit faster than my usual, and I think I briefly mentioned this in my pits and peaks last week, but I was a little annoyed because Philip hadn't run for weeks, hasn't run consistently for a couple of years, and then he's just able to come out and smash these runs out with me even though he hasn't trained. So I was a little bit miffed by that, but yeah, so we did our 5 mile run on that day, so we did it a bit earlier in the week, and I was really happy with that. I was feeling a bit run down, which is why I skipped my run 2 for the week, so that's why I only did 3 runs for the week. Then the 3 mile was just like a recovery, so that was a pace of 12:44 and a time of 38:14. I say recovery because, well, it was meant to be a recovery, but again, Philip came out with me and I just seem to naturally run a bit faster when I'm with him. On the long run that I did with him before, he sort of went off on his own to see how far he could get without stopping. So we weren't running together and I was able to sort of pace myself rather than just running in with him the whole time. But I am surprised every single time that I go out with him how much faster I run compared to when I'm on my own. And then we will move on to this week's runs. So I've done 4 runs this week. I did a 3 mile run at the beginning of the week. That was in 12:37 and I did that in a time of 37:51. I was actually really pleased with that. I think that was a run that I went out on my own with, so I was pretty happy with the paces that I was pulling out for that. And if you'd have watched my previous video with my pits and peaks, I was talking about sort of being in a better mindset with regards to how I feel and talk about myself with regards to certain things, especially my training and my weight loss, not sort of be negative about things and just sort of believe that I can do things. And obviously with a reminder from Philip on a previous run, he was basically saying that I don't believe in myself when it comes to my running and how fast that I can run. So I did sort of try to instill that bit of positivity for that run and it went really well, so I'm happy with that. Then my second run for this week was a 4 mile run that was a bit slower than the previous run, but not by much really. Did that in a pace of 13:06 and a time of 52:25. Then my run 3 for this week was yesterday, it's not going to be yesterday when you watch this, so it'll have been Saturday. That was just a short 3 mile run, but it was boiling. I sort of said to myself that even though I'm going to be training in the midst of summer, I do want to sort of change up the times that I go out running, just because I don't know what the weather is going to be like on race day. I don't know whether it's going to be raining and cold or whether it's going to be hot or what. I'm not sure, so I need to sort of acclimatise to whatever sort of weather and be prepared for anything. So we went out at, I think it was about 3 p.m. and it was about 23 degrees. I have made it no secret on my channel that I hate running in the heat. I do not bode with the heat well at all, and I suffer pretty badly with that, especially like breathing. I just feel like I'm constantly sucking in thick hot air and it doesn't go well for me. Didn't really enjoy that run that much, and I do recall I stopped quite a few times during that run as well, just because it was just so hot. So my pace was a bit slower than my usual runs, and I did that in a pace of 14:06 and a time of 42:18. So yeah, not the best of runs, but I do want to make sure that I don't avoid the heat all the time. A majority of my runs that I do, and probably my long runs, are going to be done as early as I can in the morning, but like 1 or 2 runs during the week I may swap it up and do it in the evening when it's a bit warmer, just to sort of acclimatise and get my body used to running in the heat. So that was that run, and then my final run for this week was on Sunday, so it'll be today when I'm filming, but it will have been yesterday when this goes out, hopefully. So week 4, run 4 was another 5 miles for this week. So I think the plan had a park run / time trial in the training plan in the magazine, but I wasn't going to do that, so I just decided to repeat the previous long run and do 5 miles, so it will step up next week to 6. But again, the heat killed me off today. So I went out with water. I'm going to make sure that I go out with water all the time from now on. As I mentioned, I have a free train hydro vest. I'll leave a picture of it somewhere here so you can see it. But it's similar to the free train V1 vest, where it just has the phone holder, but instead it's got 2 pockets, which has like a soft flask bottle, which you can have for hydration. So I'm going to be using that for like my shorter runs and my I'd say runs of below 10 miles. And then I'm going to have to find a proper hydration vest for more water, because I did feel like I was getting very low on water from just the 5 miles that I did today. I've got a bit off track anyway, so I did a distance of 5, a pace of 14:41, and it took me 1 hour and 13 minutes. I wasn't hugely pleased with the time that I did it in, especially considering I think I forgot to mention that the 4 mile run that I did earlier on in the week, I managed to run continuously. I didn't take any breaks whatsoever, and I was super stoked after that run, because it feels like I've been working on it forever to sort of build up my time of running and cutting out my long runs, and that was a really good run for me, and I felt really good afterwards, and I felt like I'd really sort of got into the knack of it, and I'd almost like broke through a wall, if you will. So I was really happy with that, and to sort of almost feel like I was going back to the beginning, because when I went out for my run today, I could barely run a mile without having to stop for a walk, so it felt like I'd taken a step back, if you will. So I'm just going to have to sort of get out of that headspace and know that the heat is going to affect both my pace and my sort of ability to run for further that I can without taking a walk break. Hopefully as time goes on and as I sort of acclimatise to the heat that we're going to be having, it will just improve over time. But that is how my training has gone so far. I'm really happy with it. There have been days where I haven't done as many runs in the week as I would have hoped, but I do think I'm getting into the swing of things now. I've had stuff going on with the kitchen, but I know that it's important to get in my runs as well, so I have made sure that I've got all 4 of my runs done this week, and hopefully that will continue next week as well. The only sort of other thing to mention with regards to my training has been that I have mentioned on several occasions, if you're not following me on Instagram, I'll leave it up here. That's where I do a lot of my training updates during the week, just if you want to follow along on there, rather than waiting for these sort of weekly updates. But I have mentioned several times on there that I have been leaving my training runs till later on in the week. Sometimes that is because stuff's been going on with the kitchen and we've had appointments and things have been running until late. Sometimes I've just put it off, and then it's not been great to do all of the runs in the latter half of the week, especially because it makes my legs so tired and I know I need that recovery. So I have spaced them out a bit better this week, and I will hope to have that again next week, and we'll just see how that goes going forward. I do think that I run better when I'm on sort of rested legs, where I've had like a day in between to have a rest. So I will try to make sure that I do that going forward, and at least have like 1 day's rest before my long run. I do think that's really important, that my legs are fresh for my long run days, so I'm going to try and do that. But overall, so far, I'm really happy with how training is going. Like I said, I was really stoked about being able to do the 4 miles continuously without stopping. I do hope that that will improve over time. And we'll just have to see how I get on with the heat. Hopefully I sort of adapt to it and my body gets used to running in the heat, and I'm able to get them done a bit easier than I have been the last couple of runs that I've done. But overall, it's going well. So as I said, I will have training updates going up weekly from now on. I hope to not fall that far behind again. So this is going to be a long video, but hopefully you've managed to stay till the end. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. We are halfway through base training now, so I've got another 4 or 5 weeks left. So I've just finished week 4, so I'll be on week 5 next week. And then I've got 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, I've got 4 weeks left of base training, and then I think it's June, I want to say June 13th. I jump into the actual marathon training plan. By that time, I'm hoping that I've got a really consistent routine down and I'm consistently running 4 times a week, and hopefully there are less stresses with the kitchen and that gets finished fairly quickly. I'm not holding my breath on that one, but we'll see. But yeah, that is it so far. I'm going to end the video here so it doesn't get too long. I apologise that there is no run vlog. I know a lot of people enjoy the sort of run vlog footage that I have. From next week, that will be included in the start of my training updates, where I do like a little run vlog for the beginning, and I really enjoy filming those sorts of videos. I just, like I said, haven't had the time, so that will be there from next week. So I'm going to end the video here. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can always click the notification bell down below and you'll be notified of when my videos go live. Don't forget that I am fundraising for Crohn's and colitis, so if you would like to donate, anything at all is helpful. So I will leave the link down below to my fundraising page if you would like to donate. If you're not in a position to donate right now, that's absolutely fine. I'm not taking judgment on anyone. It would be helpful if you could share my fundraising page at least, so that other people are able to see. You may have a relative, a friend or something like that that is suffering from either Crohn's or colitis. Just to sort of spread the message a bit wider would be helpful. So that's it for that. So I hope you're all staying safe and well. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.